parents of young kids are looking for a variety of experiences. Maybe they want their kid to do a sport and they want their kid to do something musical. They want their child to connect with other kids that are outside of their school, stuff like that. So I'm really thinking about messaging to those folks about.
How would you like to double the size of your choir in just 2 years? That's what this whole video series is about. Welcome to Choir Success, where we uncover the best way to manage your choirs and choruses in the modern era so that you and your music and your whole community can thrive. Today is episode 3 with Lars Myron, and we're going to talk about how you tailor your messaging to your different audiences so that you can do a great job at marketing. And now on with the interview. Lars, welcome back to the program for episode 3.
Thanks for having me back.
So, first of all, what do you see for Columbia choirs? What are your audiences? Who are the various audiences that you're tailoring the messages to?
Sure. So we have, because we kind of span the age gamut, we have 3 segments that we think about. So our children's choirs, we consider that our elementary age, and we do have pre-kindergarten as well age. So basically elementary down. We then have our youth, which is essentially middle and high school singers. And then we have our adult singers as well. So those are our 3 segments. Your question of who are we talking to, in each of those, it's a little bit different. So for children, we most of the time are talking to a parent or a guardian, the person that's going to pay the pay the tuition bill each month, but more importantly, drive them to the events, is going to encourage them into that door that first time when they might be nervous. So for that youngest age group, we're really thinking mostly about parents. In the youth range, it's a little bit more balanced how I think about it between the parent and guardian and the child, the singer themselves. As they get older, they have a little bit more self-agency. The youth are doing a lot. They've got 10 extracurriculars, and we're hoping that they join choir as one of those. So our messaging not only has to appeal to the parent or guardian who's maybe seeing the flyer first, but then they turn the phone around and show it to the kid and say, "Are you interested in that?" So that's the youth segment. And then adults, we're talking to the singers themselves. And for the most part, our adult audience, our kind of target market, are folks that sang as a kid, maybe grew up in a children's choir, who knows, maybe joined choir in college. They graduated college and they haven't sung for 10 years, or they graduated college and they're a couple years out and they're ready to get back in. Or they're, maybe they're a music educator themselves. So they've got, for us, it's that they have some music experience, some choral experience, and we're just trying to tap into that and say, come on over and sing with us.
Yeah, I've been through a similar process myself various times with creating what we call avatars that are descriptions of the different audiences. It sounds like you've got all that same information for your particular business, your particular choir and organization. And so once you have those avatars and you've decided, how do you then tailor the message, right? That sounds like an easy thing to do. It's an easy thing to say, but I bet you there's a lot of complexity that goes into it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been um, through a lot of experience, hearing stories of why people have joined has helped me kind of understand those avatars, the who am I visualizing when I'm thinking about marketing a youth choir. Um, so it's really, not only just who, but what and why. So I can kind of go through our 3 segments and talk a little bit about how we've kind of honed our messaging in for each of them. So for
I would
children,
love to hear as well about without sharing any names, about the people that are represented. Because I find myself doing the same thing. I've got my avatar, but I'm actually thinking about a specific individual as well all the time.
yeah,
Is it the same for you?
yeah, I think so. I think about a variety of individuals, but a small group, there's always some amorphous face that I'm thinking about on the other side of the screen reading a flyer. Yeah, so for children, again, this is most likely I'm talking to a parent who is flipping through their emails or flipping through that newsletter from their school. And for the most part, our children, especially on the younger end, have not had choir experience. So this isn't something where I'm calling them back to, or I'm calling them to something that they're used to. I'm inviting them to try something new. So parents of young kids are looking for a variety of experiences. Maybe they want their kid to do a sport and they want their kid to do something musical. They want their child to connect with other kids that are outside of their school, stuff like that. So I'm really thinking about messaging to those folks about exploring. So exploring just being in a choir, exploring a variety of music. We've spent a lot of time in our programming with our new artistic director, who isn't so new anymore, I should say, uh, really trying to diversify the music that we sing. So even all the way down to our pre-K and kindergarten choirs are singing in multiple languages from different cultures. We're bringing in culture bearers and guest artists to bring that educational piece when we bring in, music from other cultures, a lot of folk songs. So that's a big selling point for us. Sing music from around the world, learn through music from around the world. Um, we also are exploring cultures, like I said. So not only the cultures of what we sing, but also the cultures of who we are. We have a pretty diverse organization, so we really try and bring all of that in and have the kids lead some of that. So it's all about exploring, trying something new, and meeting new folks, new other kids.
I suppose all the messaging at some level has to be coming from decisions that you guys made about who you are and what you want to do.
Yeah, I think a little bit. I think a little bit. That's definitely significant. I mean, we choose the types of programming we do. Um, And then I also think it's just reflecting, for 40 years, we're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year. For 40 years, we've done some of the same things. When I grew up in the choir, as I move into the youth segment, I'll speak to a lot about, for example, touring. So taking groups of kids throughout the country, across an ocean. This is a core part of our youth programming, not only for the travel experience, the bonding experience, but the musical experiences. So if we decided that we wanted to throw that out the window, yeah, we would message it really differently. But because this is such a core part of our program, that's a really important part of how we message and promote the choirs.
Sure, with 40 years of history, you don't want to make an absolute right turn. You
Yes,
already know what's working, and that's kind of built into who you are. Maybe decisions that were made a long time ago are still impacting the identity of the group and what you choose to do.
definitely.
Today's episode is brought to you by Choir Genius. If you're watching this channel, you already know that managing a choir can be really challenging, especially with limited resources. Choir Genius is a software platform, both a website and a mobile app, that makes it much easier. With tools for managing members, planning events, simplifying registration, and boosting donations, it combines many tools into one simple solution. See the difference for yourself and try it for free at choirgenius.com. And now, back to the interview.
Yeah. So then picking up then at youth, we're there, we definitely have still an element of exploring, but most of our singers that are coming in at the youth level have some sort of singing experience. That doesn't necessarily mean, a choral experience. Maybe they play guitar and sing, or they're doing some independent or individual voice exploration or music lessons. They understand sheet music, notes, notations, and keys, and all of that. But for the most part, our youth are looking for something more. So this is, again, youth have a lot of different things they do. most middle and high schoolers have some element of working towards their post-high school life. So whether that means going to college, whether that means building their resume to get a job, they are looking for diverse opportunities, for things that challenge them, for opportunities that they can put, say, I did this. So, for example, our youth choirs are out in the community more. They're performing for, in public events. They're performing in collaboration. So, our teenage choir, our high school choir last year performed Beethoven's Ninth at Benaroya Hall, our big, hall here in Seattle, world-renowned facility. That's something that they can say they've done, and they could maybe even write a college essay about that experience.
Mhm.
When we think about touring, back to touring, that was a big thing for me as a youth growing up in Columbia choirs. And I used that to, write and get into college and talk about that world experience that I have even out of college. Um, so these kind of accomplishments or accolades or opportunities are really important to not only those singers, but also their parents and guardians who are hoping the best for their child as they graduate high school and go beyond. And then finally, that community piece again, and this really is speaking to the youth. Um, they hopefully have a great community at their school, whatever that might look like, but we're an opportunity for them to find community outside of the four walls of their school. So we pull from two main school districts. We're really situated in one, but our area is large but also small. So multiple high schools, about a dozen plus middle schools, 50, I think, elementary schools. So at the youth age, we're really looking at like find other people that love the same things you love. So that's really important.
And
And
then
then
finally, the adults, I guess.
going to the adults. So again, these people mostly have sung in a choir, maybe for a long time. Maybe they've taken an extended break. So we've really found, I think, a sweet spot in our messaging with them. Again, about community, it's the same word, but for them, it's like who's like me, right? Who gets me? Who can I have that Wednesday drive by myself, pull up to rehearsal, go in for an hour and a half, leave, maybe giving hugs on the way out, or go get a drink on the week off that we don't have rehearsal. Let's all meet up for, a drink or whatever. So that I think is really important as adults. We have a lot of different communities, but if you used to sing in a choir, and then maybe you haven't done that in a while, you might be missing that type of community. And those that are watching that are in the choir community, I think kind of get what I mean there, that common bond. But we're also talking about creative outlet. We're talking about again that like if you haven't done something like this for maybe 5, 10 years, like come on back. Like don't forget what that experience has meant to you in the past. It's not too late to come back and keep singing and keep exploring. It's our adult choirs are also learning groups. They're learning from guest artists. They're learning from their conductor. They're singing different types of music than they've haven't sung before. So it's not like everything and let's just sing really good. It still is a learning experience. So I think that's really important. And then again, those opportunities, much like youth, as adults, we also are looking for great opportunities. So again, whether that's singing with a large orchestra or collaborating with another adult community organization, traveling to Spokane. One of our adult treble choir traveled to Spokane and presented a joint concert with a women's choir over there. And then they had a potluck afterwards. These are the things that our adult singers that have been in the groups for many, many years talk about. And so that's something that we really lead with in our messaging to adults.
And then once you've got all of that clear in your mind, do you test different messages? And then how do you know which ones have been most effective? Like if you wanted to really pour budget into one message, how would you know which one to pour it into?
That's a great question. Um, I would say that our analytic capability isn't sophisticated enough for me to feel like I really can work with the dials on that. But I do think broadly, kind of season to season, it's been like identifying what things work better. So if we do say run a Facebook ad, we can see the results on those. Um, there are some capabilities, specifically, I can speak to Facebook, where you can have the same image and then you can run three different headlines or three different descriptions and see which, like, it will tell you which one works the best. And even if you have the settings correct, it'll put more money into those variants or variations that work the best. So I think it's for us, it's been more of a longer term, broad kind of dialing in than necessarily feeling like we can know where to put the money. But I think, whatever you can do to kind of see even season to season. Wow, last year's flyer that we sent out to the schools worked really well, and this year's didn't work as well. Let's think what changed and what could maybe we take back, what could we experiment with. So lots of fun to have there to keep working and keep improving the messaging.
Right. So for people watching, if they feel like they didn't nail it the first time, maybe don't feel bad. Test multiple messages, and then don't feel bad if you have to go back and brainstorm again, and come up with new ideas until you find something that really nails it.
Yeah, and definitely count your small wins. If you put, say, $100 into a Facebook ad and you get one singer out of that, it's probably worth it, depending on how much your, tuition or dues or whatever that payment is. It's probably worth it. And next time, maybe you can get three or five or 10, and keep playing with that.
Yeah, and probably track the return on investment over time, for these things.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is such valuable information for so many people watching this today. And I'm super excited to move on now from the messaging to the topic about marketing in the next episode.
Great. I'm looking forward to it.
I am really excited about the next installment in this video series with Lars Myron, where we're going to talk about marketing, a topic that I know you don't want to miss. So subscribe to the channel, click on the bell icon, and if you liked this video, then press the like button so other people can find it as well. Have yourself a great day.